We represent G-E-R-R-A. What else? What else? A-F-R-I-C-A. Come on, come on, come on. A-F-R-I-C. Just let's go. So let's dance now. It is my turn. Just won't work you out. I am ready for your action. Just won't work you out. You should cut off all distraction. It's all on you now. And just give me some reaction. Just won't work you out.
Beautiful afternoon to you and welcome to Rubbin. My name is Isabella Akinfe, and to kick off the show we'll be looking at the week that was, looking at those headlines that grabbed our attention, such as Nigeria's new whistleblower policy making waves. We also have the federal government taking over Arik Airlines, as well as President Buhari extending his leave indefinitely, and the celebrations that continue, talking about former governor of Delta State, Ibori, and we had in attendance Uduagan at the celebration, and of course the protest that held last week. To discuss with me in the studio, I have a social commentator by the name of Joshua Oyeni. Joshua, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Isabella.
So let's go straight to it. The whistleblower policy. According to the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, a total of $151 million and 8 billion naira has already been recovered. And this does not include the $9.2 million in cash that was allegedly owned by the former group managing director of the NNPC. So this whistleblower, the numbers are huge. They're mind-boggling. They're massive. How effective is this policy?
Let me start by saying that it's not a new policy. It's just that we're just beginning to appreciate the essence of transparency and then fighting crime before it even happens. Basically, when Kemi Adeosun, the finance minister, said the federal government has decided to initiate this, it came as a pleasant news to so many of us who are really supporting the federal government in this fight against corruption. The policy is it's in effect to basically arrest crimes. For example, you're working in a federal government parastatal, or you're working in the private sector, and you see crime, financial crimes particularly about to be committed. It's about nipping the crimes in the bud before they happen. Basically, that's what the policy is about. And then at the same time, helping to make sure that the whistleblowers are protected, from either losing their jobs or from being blackmailed.
Okay, so according to the policy, you can report anything through the online portal, by email, but how protected are these individuals?
Now, that's a question that the federal government must answer, because, Nigeria is, as a secular state as it is, so many things have happened in the past, and naturally people will be scared to report, in advance something that's about to happen, because at times you don't need to have seen a proof, but you need to have seen a signal that, okay, this my boss is about to, swindle the government of this amount of money or something, and then reports discreetly. But then, the federal government must ensure that its whistleblowers are protected. That's the main crux of the matter, because, they are prone to being either killed or assassinated or even lose their jobs, which is one of the least of the concerns. But their protection, that is left to the Department of State Security or left to other agencies that are concerned with the protection of these persons who would, report these cases.
Okay. On the far spectrum, what about the case of abuse? What about employees using this opportunity to get back at a senior official or to rope somebody in? How do they have those checks and balances in place so that this system is not abused by Nigerians?
Very good, because Nigerians, human beings being who they are generally, we may tend to abuse opportunities like this, but I'm sure that whoever wants to take advantage of this will be doing so to his or her own harm. Because this is federal government against an individual or against an organization. You don't want to get yourself in that mess, basically. So it's just for us to appeal to people to say, you know what, don't abuse this, because we are actually on a serious fight against corruption, and it should not be a personal vendetta against anybody for whatever reason. Be sure of the information you're about to give us. Do your, your scrutiny, do your research, and at the same time ensure that what you are telling us is something that we can take to the bank, and then we'll find it through. So basically, it's about individuals being very concerned about the information. But that's still not to say that you should become scared unnecessarily. If you have found the fact, or if you have seen one or two things to report, please do so in the interest of the nation and, of course, of this of our people as a whole.
So perhaps the federal government can put penalties in place for
Definitely,
people who
of
want
course,
to abuse
it's
the
blackmail
system.
or it's defamation of character for you to report to somebody who is innocent. So that person can even decide to to sue the federal government if he or she doesn't know who reported. And so you want to be sure that you're not putting yourself in jeopardy's way or putting the federal government in jeopardy's way.
Okay, let's move on to the federal government takeover of ARIC. There have been rumors that the federal government is going to establish a national carrier, and now we have AMCON taking over a distressed airline. And it's also a revelation of some of the issues that we're facing in the airline industry. I'm talking about times when flights are cancelled, children are crying, people go one day to the airport and sleep till the next day before they fly off, sometimes as late as 12 midnight, 1 a.m. So let's look at Nigeria's aviation. First of all, do you think that this is a welcome move for an airline like ARIC?
Well, before I give my thoughts on that, there is an adage that says when logs of wood fall over each other, you start by carrying the one on top. When things happen like this in the sector, we should ask questions, pertinent questions. Why have things deteriorated to this level? It's not about beginning to take over people's organizations or companies, and you think, why are we in these issues in the first place? Why are we in a recession? Because before now, these companies were doing well. Aero was doing well. I used to fly Aero those days. I remember a few years ago, I bought a return ticket for 15,000 on Aero. But why are they not operating? Why is the economy, declining by the day? So before we begin to take over people's company, because it happened to Silverbird, and I felt, wow, well, we are trying to salvage situations, but
so that people don't lose their jobs,
so that these
we can organizations can continue.
Yes, but at the same time, we should, begin to address the issues fundamentally, so that you don't begin to take over. How many of these companies will you take over in due course? There are so many of them. You talk about the banks. We talk about all the institutions.
So are you saying that more lifelines should be given to these organizations?
Yes, I believe so. I believe they should begin to, consider these things before they happen. Yes, it's good. Like you said, you want to consider that people don't lose their jobs, investors don't lose their money, and at the same time, the federal government and the GDP is protected and all the rest is good. But then how do we address these issues while they are uprising? How do we spot the danger signs before they happen? When you see a company not doing very well financially over a period of time, how do you help them, to overcome their distress?
So you're not waiting for them not to
you don't wait for them, so and then take over their company.